Welcome to our short series on stress and health. I am JoannaRuth, and I'm bringing you this series so that we can all become a little bit more fluent on how stress is involved in our wellness.
Trauma and stress change human metabolism.
Today, I'm bringing you a clip from a very important YouTube video, which the entire event went for hours and hours, but this video is just of Dr. Chris Palmer's speech at the Senate Roundtable. Now, it's absolutely true. We cannot separate metabolic health from mental health. It's all part of the one system. And I do understand that we've all been living in a society that does separate the two, but that's why things aren't working very well. If you toxify the brain, your mind is not going to work very well. We all know that the brain is in the body, and we all know that the brain has something to do with the functioning of the mind. We don't know which part of the physical self is the mind, probably because the mind is truly a function of the brain. So if the problem is food, you need to alter the food. If the problem is toxicity, you need to alter the toxicity. And if the problem is your beliefs interacting with what's actually out there in the world, you need to change your beliefs.
Chronic diseases we face today, obesity, diabetes, fatty liver, all share something in common. They are, in fact, metabolic dysfunction. When we have metabolic dysfunction, it can drive numerous chronic diseases. The cause is coming from our environment, a toxic environment, like poor diet and exposure to harmful chemicals. And these are actually quite easy to study, understand, and address. Nutritious foods support metabolism, while ultra-processed options can disrupt it. Metabolism's impact goes beyond physical health. It also affects mental health. Because guess what? The human brain is an organ too. And when brain metabolism is impaired, it can cause symptoms that we call mental illness. It is no coincidence that as the rates of obesity and diabetes are skyrocketing, so too are the rates of mental illness. We have all-time prevalence highs for depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, deaths of despair, drug overdoses, ADHD, and autism. Mental disorders at their core are often metabolic disorders impacting the brain. Let's go back to something familiar. Trauma and stress do drive mental illness. But for those of you who don't know, trauma and stress are also associated with increased rates of obesity and diabetes. Trauma and stress change human metabolism. We need to put the science together. This brings me to a key point. We cannot separate physical and mental health from metabolic health.
If you have an excessive stress response, you are going to lead yourself down a metabolic illness road. There's no question about it. We know from episode 1 and from episode 2 that traumatic responses happening in the world are going to lead you towards insulin resistance. You're going to have blood sugar rising because you have adrenaline rising. You're going to end up with cortisol resistance and insulin resistance because those hormones have to come and do the cleanup that's created from this adrenaline response. An adrenaline response is a response to a perceived danger. Your brain is an organ of your body, no question. And we need to think about the health of our brains, and we need to think about what we are creating in our bodies because of the way we're thinking. It's a two-way street. We can't just have it one way. You can't have trauma, which you probably don't even recognize as trauma. Most people think that little t trauma is not worth worrying about, except when your life isn't going well, when your health isn't going well, you really need to go and make sure that you haven't got these little t traumas causing you problems. Or you could just keep them and keep the problems. You can adjust your physical environment, you can adjust your food, you can adjust what you drink, you can restrict things, you can bring things in, you can do light therapy, you can have clean air, you can sit out in the sun and see sunrise and see the sunset, meditate, take time for yourself. And all of those things are really great for you, but they will never, ever trump changing your thinking. And it's not the thinking that you already are recognizing as your thinking. It's the thinking that's going on behind the scenes that you are not aware of. That's the thinking that you need to bring into your awareness, because then you can make a decision about it. And that is my passion. That's what I can help with. And that's why I'm trying to put forward these understandings that we have to honor our entire self, not just try to handle everything on a physical level, but consider that the mind needs a really clean brain and the body needs a really clean mind. It works both ways. It's a two-way street. Emotional alignment life coaching is kind of like a subconscious detox. We're going to find the little idea that entered into your mind and has been used as a foundation and been built upon. And yet all of those thoughts that have built on it have led to understanding a truth that isn't true. And it's not going to do you very well if you have a truth that isn't true. So we need to bring truth to light, and we have to find the lies that are masquerading as truth. And that's what emotional alignment is essentially doing. So when I ask you weird questions, just answer the question, because I'm headed into your subconscious. I'm looking for your, not just what you say as the answer to the question, but how you say what you say and how you feel when you say it. That's what I'm looking for. And if you could do it yourself, you would do it yourself. I absolutely believe that. And if I had someone who could, I could just sit down for an hour and talk to them and they would find these things for me, I would do that. I wouldn't mess around and have to, in the sandbox of my head. I wouldn't stay in there alone. Not if I had someone to play with and find it. So take advantage of the fact that you now know that this is an option. It is an option, and if you don't try it, you will not know how good things can get. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. Please subscribe to the channel and email us if you'd like more information about life coaching. Here's a playlist for the entire series. Please like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. See you in the next video.